understand that that usually means everybody in the house is getting punished to some extent. But if it corrects the bad attitude behaviors, it's worth it.
Inside the courtroom.
Custer, come on up. Counsel, your appearance.
Attorney Thomas Ford, P77177, appearing on behalf of the defendant who stands for right. You say
Good morning. And counsel, I understand Ms. Custer is going to plead guilty?
Yeah.
Ma'am, do you understand your rights and options? You discuss those with counsel? Yep. And do you understand the possible penalty for the charge? Are you as nervous as you look? Take 3 big breaths. Seriously, just breathe. I got all the time in the world today. Just breathe. We'll get you through here. It's not my first rodeo. Just take down about 50%. You're not going to jail. This is going to be, you're going to look back on this and say, I didn't even get a t-shirt. You all right? Okay. You understand the possible penalty? Yes? She's recording, so doesn't record very well. So understanding all of this, you're pleading guilty, and are you doing so freely and voluntarily? Okay. So how many kids are we talking about? 1, 2? 1. Son or daughter? What's her name?
June.
June like the month? And how old is she? All right. So she's almost going to be human again. Another year or 2, she'll be human, right? All right. How many days did she miss?
Roughly 115 hours is our understanding.
Okay. All right. Are you satisfied that that's enough of a factual basis for me to accept? So am I. All right. So what's going on? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. But she does have the option to take the bus. That's the other.
Okay. Okay. So it's a twofold problem. You kind of checked out for a while because you lost dad. And she's not taking responsibility for her education. Okay. All right. So a couple thoughts in my head right now. First thing is, are you in grief counseling? Go. Grief counseling. First thing I always tell people is contact the funeral parlor wherever your dad went through the funeral home. A lot of funeral homes have grief counseling on site. All right. But if you just Google grief counseling near me, shocked if you don't have a lot of options. And my limited experience with them is through the funeral homes. It's usually free. Okay. I have never, and I've made people go to grief counseling. I've had people on probation. I made it a condition of probation. I'd never had anybody go through grief counseling that told me it was a waste of time. Okay. I'll share a little story. Counsel, you're near prison. I'm going to share a story for you. Her predecessor lost her father. A year later, I was still dealing with, in the middle of a docket, she'd get up and run out. So finally I pulled her aside and I said, how much do you like this job? I love this job. I said, I'm going to fire you. You have got to figure out a way to deal with your grief because this is unhealthy. Okay. So she went to grief counseling. From that point forward, when I was having this conversation with somebody standing where you're at, she would look at me and say, Judge, can I take over? And I'd say, go ahead. And for her, the main thing grief counseling did for her, and I know this because I heard her tell people this all the time. For her, and I'm not saying what you get out of it, but what Paula got out of it was they told her, schedule time every day to grieve. First thing in the morning, last thing before you go to bed, while you're making your lunch, schedule some time to just think about your loss, deal with it, cry if that's where you're at, schedule time to grieve. Because that way she wasn't just trying to bull through and it would overwhelm her because something was said or something she heard would remind her of her dad and her loss, and she'd like be on an emotional wreck for 15 minutes. Okay? Pretty simple thing. Right? But she didn't come up with it on her own. It was grief counseling. So is that a pretty good sales pitch? Okay. And I'm going to suggest if June was close to your dad, she might need it too, because that might be part of her motivational problem. All right. Now, the second thing I want to tell you is this. If it's just attitude, bring her in here. Let me talk to her. Let me impress upon her how at 14 years of age, she has more responsibility for her education than you do. I love to tell people how to live, especially kids. Okay? So if that's something that is attractive to you, her name is Heather. You can get on our email through our website and you can start an email conversation. Just say, I need to speak to Heather to schedule a meeting with Judge Oakley and my 14-year-old almost human being daughter. Deal? Okay. Last thing, I'm getting to a sentencing, counsel, I promise you. Last thing is, we've got lots of resources available to us, okay? I could get people to answer the phone for me just because of this, that you might not be able to get them to answer the phone, okay? So if you're having trouble getting her properly motivated and you think we might be able to help you find resources, just come back to probation. Just walk up to the probation department and say, I was in front of Judge Oakley on the 23rd of March. We talked about my daughter and her lack of motivation for school. And I'd like to tell you what my problems are and see if you guys have any suggestions. You got all that? I threw a lot of information at you. All right, so let me tell you what your sentencing is. You're on a delayed sentence for the next 12 months. What that means is no crime sprees, don't commit any new crime. And the problems we're having now with June in attendance don't continue. All right? That's it. I'm not charging you any money. So keep your nose clean. Things get better with attendance. And if they're not, then you come back and see us and say, look, I've done everything I can. All right, one last thing. I lied to you. One last thing. Remember, your mom, you have legal responsibilities. You have to feed her, house her, and clothe her. You don't have to feed her what she wants. You don't have to house her and keep her comfortable, and you don't have to clothe her the way she wants. You just need to make her so she's not naked, she's not in the weather, and she's not starving. So that means don't let her be comfortable under your roof if she's not doing what you want her to do. And I understand, I've done this. That's the end of the lecture. Anything else?
No, just quickly, I'll say, on my friend's here, she's never been before. She did adopt this child at a young age who was born with drugs in her system.
Yeah.
She's doing a very good job. Normally, they hit a quick stumble, Judge, but I'm confident that they won't be.
Yeah. Yeah, so she came with some issues. Yeah. 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 You feel a little bit better than you did when you walked in? Okay, good luck.
Inside the courtroom.